In this video, we will explore the new capabilities of Nerdio Manager 2.5 in capturing and providing you with logs from the various relevant places in the environment to help in the troubleshooting process. So WVD is a platform that really spans many different systems. There's Active Directory, there's FSLogix, there is Azure, WVD services, and many other components that make up a WVD environment. And sometimes when you run into an error, the biggest challenge is being able to narrow down the root cause of the problem, which involves reviewing logs, obtaining logs, which often requires logging into a session host VM or a VM that failed to provision as a session host and trying to obtain the various different drivers, the various different logs that may be relevant to troubleshooting a problem. In version 2.5, we've made that process very easy and automated. Let me show you how that works. So let's start out by looking at any task that involves, for example, provisioning a new host in WVD. So if you look at the add host task here and you click on details, you'll notice that this add host consists of many different sub-steps. There's the VM creation, there's joining to AD, installation of FSLogix, installation of Sepago, installation of the WVD agent, and many other components that make up the process of adding a new host. So one thing you'll notice is that next to many of these subtasks, you now have a button that allows you to pull the logs directly from the VM and analyze them by downloading them just as a zip file of the raw logs. Now, this is useful because this gives you logs from the extension that was used to, let's say, join the VM to the domain. So if we click on this button, this is going to use a custom script extension to go to the VM itself and then download those logs from the VM and provide them to you as a download button that's going to appear right here if this VM is available still and the logs can be downloaded. You can do the same thing with your FSLogix logs, with Sepago logs, and many other things that come up in the process of adding a host. Now, if we are dealing with a desktop image, there may be some additional information that may be useful. For example, occasionally when Sysprep runs, it may not properly Sysprep the VM. And in that case, you may want to pull the Sysprep logs from that machine, and you can do that as well from the details of that power off and set as image task. If you want to pull a more detailed log compilation, we will go into the workspace, select an existing session host, and if we go under the actions menu, there will be a new option here called request logs, and request logs can allow us to download one or more of all the different possible logs from the system. So if we select all, here's what we'll get. We'll get the app attached logs that may be relevant from this host. We'll get FSLogix logs, the GPU driver install, Active Directory domain join, the installation of the Virtual Desktop optimizations tool, Sepago Azure Monitor, any Nerdio Manager for WVD logs, any Sysprep logs, desired state extension logs, any migration logs, event viewer, the system and application logs, as well as Azure Activity Logs relevant to this particular host. So if we click OK, this is going to submit a new task. It will take a few minutes to run, and then once it does, we will have a container of logs in a zip file that we can download. So let's look at a previous such task. Here's one that ran a few days ago. If we click on details, you will see there's going to be a button on the result called download logs. If we click this button, it's going to download a zip file that will contain all the various options that were selected on that request logs screen. Once you have these, you can easily share them with support or review them yourself. And this eliminates the need of having to log in an RDP into various VMs and try to hunt for these logs yourselves. This is going to package them all together and make them available right from the Nerdio Manager user interface. Hope you found this useful, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos.